What's up there guys, GarethWilliam414 here, and today I am bringing you Maximillion Pegasus Deck profile. This is the last video of Pegasus week, and no better way to finish it off than actually showcasing his deck. He's got a very big like Toon build to it, as well as having a bit of a dark side to the deck, as well as we saw in that classic duel between himself and Yugi. It's a really strong, really strong actually character deck. It's a lot of fun to play, especially if it all works well together. So for more character deck profiles, character deck duels, Yu-Gi-Oh openings, and much more, head over to my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as well, so you can stay up to date with all of my future content. And with that being said, I'm going to start with Pegasus Monsters, and I'm going to start with the classic Toon Blue Eyes White Dragon. So with all of these Toons, they have this kind of common effect that Toon World has to be on the field, and to special summon this monster to the field you need to tribute obviously 2 monsters to bring him out. Every time this monster declares an attack, you have to pay 500 life points, and if your opponent doesn't control any 2 monsters at all, you make that a direct attack. If they do have any 2 monsters on the field, then you have to have that Toon monster has to be the target, if that makes sense. Also, if Toon World is destroyed, then all of your Toon monsters are destroyed with that as well. So Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, really strong, 8-star monster, 3000 attack, 2500 defense, so pretty much the same stats as the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Next up we have Manga Ryu-Ran. The only Toon monster not to say 2. No idea why. No, why? But that's how it goes. He is a 7-star monster, 2200 attack and 2600 defense. Then we have Toon Summon Skull, 6-star monster, 2500 attack and 1200 defense. Then we've got the awesome Toon Dark Magician Girl. So she's a 6-star monster, 2000 attack, 1700 defense. She has the same effect as the other 2 monsters, except she's got her effects as well, that she gains 300 attack for each Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in either player's graveyard. So if you are playing against Yugi, you know, this card could become quite strong if you get rid of those monsters. We've got a very new Toon to the decks. We've got Toon Ancient Gear Golem, which he actually used against Crowler and GX. I thought I'd include it in there anyway, because, you know, everyone loves Ancient Gear Golem, it's cool, and it just looks really cool, this card. So obviously it's got the same stats as Ancient Gear Golem, as well as its piercing effect as well. Next up we have the classic Toon Mermaid, 4-star monster, 1400 attack, 1500 defense. Next up we have Toon Gemini Elf. So 4-star monster, 1900 attack, and 900 defense, sorry. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you discard 1 random card from your opponent's hand, so that can be very devastating. Then we've got Toon Goblin Attack Force, which has the same effect as Goblin Attack Force, where when it attacks, it is switched to defense position, and you can't change it until the end of your next turn. 2300 attack and 0 defense, so be careful when you use it. Next up we have Toon Coven Soldier. You contribute 1 monster to inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Then we've got Toon Masked Sorcerer. Let's have a look. His effect is when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, you can draw 1 card from your deck, which is really cool. Then we've got Toon Alligator. It's the only Toon in here which doesn't have the Toon World effect. I'm not sure why. It's at 800 attack and 1600 defense. So that's it for his Toons. Next up we have the Illusionist Faceless Mage. I couldn't say that one there. It's a 5-star monster, 1200 attack with 2200 defense. Then we've got the classic Dark Rabbit. I can't remember what it was actually called in the show. If you can remember, just drop me a comment in the comment section below. I'll no doubt check it out after this video anyway. But 1100 attack and 1500 defense. His next 2 monsters that I've got here, he actually never used. We've got Crash Clown and Dream Clown. The only reason that these 2 monsters are in here is because he runs Bickery Box, and the TCG, it's a fusion monster, so obviously to get that out we need to use polymerization on these, so that's why they've been included in the deck there. Next up we have Dragon Piper. It's a 3-star monster with 200 attack and 1800 defense, which is pretty strong for a 3-star monster. Random effects, you flip it and destroy all face-up dragon capture jars on the field. If you destroy any, change all face-up dragon type monsters on the field to attack position. No idea why Pegasus runs this card, especially because he runs Dragon Capture Jar in here, and if you're playing someone like Kaiba, this is a card you definitely don't want to use. Next up we have Jigen Bakudan. It's a 2-star monster, 200 attack, 1000 defense. Its effect is, after this card is flipped, offer it as a tribute during your standby phase to destroy all monsters on your side of the field and inflict direct damage equal to half the total attack of the destroyed cards, excluding this monster, to your opponent's life points. So that could be really cool if you're holding a very strong field and you want to go for that win. Then we've got Dark Eyes Illusionist. 2-star monster, 0 attack, 1400 defense. You flip it, select one monster. While this card remains face up on the field, that monster cannot attack. It's just one of those cards that looks really, really cool. Obviously, because its head looks like the Millennium Eye and just looks awesome. Then we've got Thousand Eyes Idol, obviously an absolute garbage monster, but you need it in order to get your Thousand Eyes Restrict out. His final monster is the classic, the Dark Relinquished, an awesome monster. So let me just quickly read over here. I can't exactly remember what he does. And let's have a look. Select one monster. Select one monster on your opponent's side of the field and equip it to this card. Select one monster on your opponent's side of the field and equip it to this card. This effect can only be used once per turn, and you can only equip one monster at a time to this card. The attack and defense of this card become the same amount as the monster equipped to this card. If this card is destroyed as a result of battle, the equipped monster is destroyed instead. And any battle damage you receive from the battle is also inflicted to your opponent's life points, which is, awesome, and it's such, a terror for Yu-Gi when you faced it. But that's Pegasus' monsters there. So let's move on to his spells. I run 2 copies of Toon World. I found that 3 was, a bit cloggy kind of thing, and 2 ran really well. So basically you just pay 1000 life points to activate this card, and then you'll be able to summon out all your Toon monsters. Next up, I run 3 copies of Toon Table of Contents. This is why I only run 2 copies of Toon World, because we can get it out easily with this. Basically what you do is you add 1 card from your deck to your hand that includes Toon in its card name or is named Manga Ryu-Ran. Next up we have the awesome Toon Kingdom. So when this card is activated, you banish 3 cards from the top of your deck face down. This card's name becomes Toon World while in the field zone. Your opponent cannot target 2 monsters you control with card effects. If a 2 monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effects, you can banish 1 card from the top of your deck face down for each of those monsters instead. So that's really, really cool card there. It is extremely strong in character decks. Next up we've got Shadow Toon. So if you control Toon World, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of that face-up monster. You can only activate 1 Shadow Toon per turn. The classic Toon rollback. Target 1 Toon monster you control. It can make a second attack during each battle phase that turn, which is a really cool card. Then he has a copy of Shine Palace. You equip it to a light monster and it gains 700 attack. Then we've got Comic Hand. If you control Toon World, equip to an opponent's monster, take control of it. It is treated as a Toon monster. If your opponent controls no Toon monsters, it can attack your opponent directly. If Toon World is not on the field, destroy this card. So basically you just take in one of your opponent's monsters and it becomes a Toon with all the effects that it has if it was just a normal Toon monster. Then we've got the awesome Mimicat, or as it was called in the show, Doppelganger. And its effect is, if you control Toon World and a Toon monster, target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard. If it is a monster, special summon it to your side of the field, or if it's a spell or trap card, set it to your side of the field. You can only activate 1 Mimicat per turn, so this is a really, really strong card in character deck duels. Then he runs a copy of Heavy Storm, a copy of Cost Down, Snatch Steal, Card of Sanctity with its obvious anime effect of both players drawing till they have 6 cards in their hand. He runs Premature Burial, copy of Polymerization, Monster Reborn, Pot of Greed, and his final spell card is Black Illusion Ritual, so you're obviously going to need that to get relinquished onto the field. Moving on to Pegasus's traps now. We start with a copy of Toon Mask. So, if you control Toon World, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, special summon one Toon monster from your hand or deck whose level is less than or equal to the level/rank of that monster, ignoring its summoning conditions. This next trap card looks really cool. I've always been a fan of this. Toon Briefcase looks awesome. When your opponent summons a monster or monsters while you control a Toon monster, shuffle that monster or monsters into the deck. Then we've got a copy of Toon Defense. When an opponent's monster declares an attack targeting a face-up level 4 or lower Toon monster you control, you can make the attack a direct attack instead. Then he's got Dragon Capture Jar, which he used against Yugi on his Komori Dragon in that 15-minute limit duel when Pegasus was on the TV, which was awesome. He's got a copy of Jar of Greed. Ultimate Offering. This is a really cool card. You know, at the cost of 500 life points per monster, a player is allowed an extra normal summon or set, which is really, really cool. Then we've got Gorgons Eye. Until the end of the end phase, all effects of monsters on the field in defense position are negated. His final trap card is a copy of Solemn Judgment. So as you can see here, Pegasus' deck is very, very strong. He has a lot of really strong cards in here. So he's obviously one of the better character decks and a very, very hard opponent to beat. His extra deck then, so he's got two fusion monsters. He's obviously got Bickery Box, which in the show was just a normal monster, and his final one is Thousand Eyes Restrict, and same as Relinquish. I can't exactly remember how it works, so I'm going to try and read the extremely small print. So, as long as this card remains face-up on the field, other monsters cannot change their battle positions or attack. Select one monster your opponent's side of the field and equip it to this card. So it's pretty much got the same effect as Relinquish, that you're equipping it to it and it gains its stats, and if it's destroyed by battle, the equipped monster is destroyed instead. It doesn't have the effect that your opponent's going to take the battle damage, but obviously the effect it has in place of that is that all of the monsters can't change their battle positions or attack. So it's a really cool card and really strong. I remember when he played this against Yugi. It was such a classic duel, that. But there we go, guys. So that was my Maximillion Pegasus deck profile there. Also, it was the last video of Pegasus week. On Wednesday, I uploaded the classic Yugi versus Pegasus duel. It was Yugi's Duelist Kingdom deck I used as well to try and keep it as accurate as I can. Then I opened a booster box of Dragons of Legend 2, so we were looking for some 2 monsters in there. And of course today we end it with his deck profile. If you really enjoyed them, or if you haven't checked them out, check them out. But I do a lot more character deck profiles on the channel, character deck duels, I do a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh openings and more. Don't forget to also like, comment and subscribe if you liked what you see and you'd like to stay up to date with all of my future content. I had a lot of fun deck profile on this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of it. So until next time, guys, take care.